How is HPE helping companies adapt to the shift towards a work-from-home model and preparing them for the business after the current global crisis? I'm Guy Daniels, and joining me now is David Twohy. David, very good to meet you. We're certainly living in unprecedented times right now with the global pandemic. You speak to your customers every day, so what are some of the ways that they've been impacted?
Well, first of all, nice to meet you as well, Guy, and thanks for having me. You're right. I do speak with customers on a daily basis, and obviously a global pandemic nobody expected, nobody had prepared for, and we're seeing a couple of big themes emerge. Number one, every single customer I talk to, without exception, is looking for ways to preserve cash. Right, so cash is king is the kind of the terminology that I'm hearing out there. The second thing is customers are accelerating digital transformation initiatives because what they need to do is to actually deploy technology to accelerate things like work at home and school at home. Security issues are a big challenge that need to be addressed. And so on. So with all of this in mind, IT organizations are put under a lot of pressure because you have competing priorities. How do I save cash and deploy new services and new capabilities all at the same time? And that's where HPE GreenLake comes in, and that's the organization that I represent for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise in North America. And what's really powerful about HPE GreenLake is it is a consumption model. It's the most sophisticated as a service model in the industry. And what it allows customers to do is to deploy all of the compute, storage, and networking that they may need to launch these new services and to run these new services, but they can do so in a way that they're not actually using a bunch of capital up front. Instead, we deploy the technology and the customers can pay for what they actually consume at the end of a given month, not dissimilar to how you might pay your power bill at the end of the month based on kilowatt hours that you personally consumed. So that solves for how do you help preserve cash and keep that cash in the treasury. Then the second part of the equation is how do we help customers drive digital transformation initiatives and move more quickly and more agilely, if that's a word, in the IT space to deploy these new services. So what we do is we size the needs of the workloads and deploy the technology that's needed today. So that also saves customers money. They're not over provisioning and buying more than they need, right? And having all those dollars leave the treasury right now. Instead, we're deploying to what is actually required today for today's workloads. And then HPE puts a buffer, a technology buffer, on top of that so customers can provision out of that buffer real time, and they don't pay for any of that unless they actually consume it. So what our customers are telling us is that once they have GreenLake inside their environment, they're able to deliver 65% more projects than they were able to deliver prior to having GreenLake. And the other element to that is a people element, because when we deploy this technology inside our customers' data centers or colo facilities, we're also running that environment on our customers' behalf. We're doing things like memory management, firmware updates, patch management, BIOS updates, all that kind of heavy lifting infrastructure management stuff that customers just frankly aren't very good at, and it consumes a lot of people cycles. So instead, when we run all of that for our customers, right, we're freeing up people time to the tune of 44% productivity improvement on the people equation. And those people are now freed up to go work on deploying this new technology and these new services out into the field for our customers. So the combination of saving cash, rapid deployments out of buffers, and the ability to free up people cycles is incredibly powerful. And on average, that cash flow savings is 30%. So it's significant. And so our customers are saving tens of millions of dollars by leveraging HPE and HPE GreenLake specifically.
David, you've discussed the immediate situation, but what about more longer term? What's HPE GreenLake doing to help its customers with their plans post-COVID?
Yeah, Guy, that's a great question, because what we're seeing is our customers are absolutely leveraging GreenLake to drive kind of a long-term transformational play within their own organization. And they're really, I'm seeing it kind of play out in three different ways. One is this is a bit of a macro trend in the industry. We're seeing more and more customers exiting the data center business and the infrastructure management business altogether. So, GreenLake can be a significant, springboard to accelerate those kinds of initiatives and save cash along the way. Second thing is, because we are taking over management of that infrastructure, so we're monitoring, we're doing the administration, and we're doing the updating. What that immediately does for our customers is it raises their security and compliance posture right out of the gate and keeps them there, because we keep all that current. And frankly, most customers struggle to keep all that current. And then finally, when we think about the elimination of tech debt as a major initiative for most customers, they've acquired all of this technology over the years. And the old way of buying technology was to purchase everything up front. And the best way that IT had to mitigate risk for unknowns was to buy more than they needed. In fact, one CIO shared with me their capacity planning methodology was to estimate what they thought they needed, then double it, then add 10% on top of that for risk, and then add 5% on top of that for business continuity purposes, and then they would buy. So on average, the typical customer over-provisions compute by 59% and over-provisions storage by 58%. And that shows up as waste, not only immediate waste, but long-term waste, because for most customers, the two most expensive things in their data center are people, number one, and power, number two. And if you overbuy like you've historically done, what this means is not only did all of that money leave your treasury immediately, so it's inefficient waste, right? You're paying to power those devices in that capacity that you're not using, waste. And your people who are already overburdened just trying to keep the lights on and doing firefighting are spending time like providing system admin services for those devices that you're not using. So more waste. So it's waste on top of waste on top of waste. With GreenLake, what we do is we tell customers, look, we can buy back all of those old assets, right? We can consolidate. We can get you to a position where you're consuming substantially less power and using substantially less floor space, which is expensive. And you pay as you go, right? So you're not in a position where all that cash is leaving the treasury immediately. And we eliminate the tech debt because we're getting you to current, and we improve the security and compliance posture, right? And all of this also lends itself to one other significant, I'll say, digital transformation goal, which is most IT shops are looking to become more agile. They want to become an internal service provider. And with GreenLake, part of the package that our customers receive as part of the solution is the customer experience portal that we call GreenLake Central. What GreenLake Central does is it allows customers to provision immediately, right? So if they need to deploy new bare metal, or they need to deploy new virtual machines or containers, they can do that instantly out of the buffers through their own customer service portal. So that, right, injects significant speed and agility into our customers' capabilities. But at the same time, we can track exactly who's using what and what their usage patterns look like, so that we can actually instantly have help our customers to understand, right, who's actually consuming and how much they're going to need down the line. So there's an AI engine that's baked into GreenLake that actually does predictive capacity planning for our customers as well. So there's just a ton of value associated with, not just the short-term benefits, but long-term kind of transformational qualities of GreenLake that customers really can't get anywhere else.
So are you seeing any of your customers take this time to seek new ways of doing business, to re-examine their digital strategies, or maybe even use the slowdown to launch new technologies?
Yeah, we're absolutely seeing our customers lean in and use this as a lever, right, as an opportunity. And one of the things that GreenLake is doing on that in that respect is because of the cash savings that we're providing, right? If a customer has a set budget, as an example, we'll just use round numbers, $100 million, and we're going to save them 30% across that spend, right? That's $30 million of savings that we can provide. And what our customers are telling us is, they're using those savings actually to reinvest in the business, right? So whether it's investing in the new technology to enable, right, the work at home or school at home or any other application or service that's required out there, or to improve their security position. Other customers are doing things like, taking that money and reinvesting in the company, using it for merger and acquisition activity, or things like stock buybacks, or even hiring, incremental sales people, right, to create a different business outcome. So in the end, right, GreenLake provides all of those business and technical benefits that we already covered, Guy, but it also really drives a differentiated business outcome for our customers, right, that enables them to not only focus on those business outcomes and how they make money and how they serve their customers, right, but at the same time enables them to reinvest in those areas in a new and a different way. So and this shows up actually in the amount of GreenLake growth, which we just announced in our last earnings announcement. Antonio Neri, our CEO, shared with the street that GreenLake grew 82% just in the last quarter alone, and that was driven by 5x growth here in North America. So we're super proud of that. And it also shows up in our customer renewals, right? So customers, once they get into GreenLake, they love GreenLake. And in fact, we see 99% of the customers who start a GreenLake contract renew GreenLake contracts with us. That's obviously a hugely impressive figure.
So David, can you summarize how HPE GreenLake can help drive some of these transformations that you've spoken about today?
Yeah, I think in summary, it nets out to a couple of things. One is, obviously the cash is king, right? So the ability for customers to save 30%, the ability for customers to eliminate waste in that 59% over provisioning on compute and 58% on storage, plays out in real life and drives those savings, right? Third thing is injecting that agility and enabling customers to actually see who's consuming what and when they're consuming it, and create that internal service provider model that so many of our customers really want, right? And finally, the ability to bridge what I'm going to call on-premise infrastructure and cloud initiatives. And GreenLake Central can do that. GreenLake Central, the customer experience portal I mentioned earlier, provides the ability to not only manage on-prem infrastructures, but also to manage the cloud subscriptions in places like AWS, Azure, and Google. So uniquely, right, we're also helping our customers drive a hybrid IT simplification process as part of the whole experience. So when you put it all together, it's about saving dollars, it's about increasing agility, it's about elimination of tech debt, it's about improving the security and compliance posture, and helping our customers accelerate, simplify, and ultimately fund their digital transformation journey.
David, thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you, Guy. I appreciate your time.